Hi friends, thank you so much for being here with me today. I felt really strongly compelled to do a collective reading today in lieu of some stuff I've been going through personally this week. I've been sharing some of my personal experiences on social media that have started a lot of conversations about things that are going on in our community and world. In my case specifically, it's been centered around male-female gender dynamics and the distorted power structures around that and how it negatively impacts women. I'm feeling like a lot of tightness in my throat that I didn't have a few minutes ago, like right as I start this video. Anytime I feel something like kind of activating in my throat, this typically in reading speaks on feeling afraid to speak up or feeling blocked, which has also been a theme of what I've been discussing with other women in my community this week. So if you have been feeling afraid to share your truth, if you've been feeling like people have been trying to silence you, if you've been feeling like your health has been affected by experience that you've gone through recently or within your life, you may resonate with this reading, just throwing that out there. But yeah, I was just feeling really drawn to pull some cards for the collective because it seems like a lot of people I've been speaking with this week have been going through different versions of the same thing. I'm not sure exactly what this year has in store for us collectively, but it's already been very intense. We're only about 6 months in. So yeah, hopefully this reading will find the people who need to hear it and offer you some clarity. I went ahead and pulled some cards just to save time on this video. And essentially what I'm seeing is a lot of confirmation of what I've already been feeling this week and what a lot of other people I think have been feeling this week. The first card that came out, which was very loud in its energy, was the Strength card. So again, if you've been going through it recently, if you have been dealing with anxiety, if you have been trapped in cycles of abuse or mistreatment that you don't want to be in and you don't know how to get out, please stay strong and have hope, because everything that is keeping you shackled to these cycles or energies that you don't want to participate in, it's all about to start crumbling. We have the Tower card. This card speaks about things crumbling that aren't built on a solid foundation. Often the Tower can indicate really swift movement. This can be something that happens in your life very suddenly. A lot of people view this card as having kind of like a dark energy. For me personally, it's one of my favorite cards in the tarot because it speaks on things breaking down that need to be broken down in order for us to either see the truth or for us to access levels of higher growth and self-love that we wouldn't have had if we were connected to these things that weren't even built on a solid foundation in the first place. So this can be speaking about personal relationships crumbling, losing friends that maybe you thought would be in your life forever, losing a job, the rug getting ripped out from under you, things that people typically associate with crisis. However, a lot of times those traumatic events can be precursors for like the most empowering, uplifting, amazing, positive changes in your life. Because sometimes we don't realize how we're prisoners to these things that we have attached ourselves to, or vice versa, things that have attached themselves to us that have been sucking our energy or siphoning our life force from us. Sometimes that's a slow, drawn out process and we don't even know it's happening. So yeah, with Strength in the Tower, I think a lot of those of you watching this reading can probably expect some pretty sudden and intense life changes. Just stay strong, just stay grounded. All of this stuff is a part of your destiny and it's meant to happen. It's interesting too, like I just did a reading a few minutes ago before I started this one, and one of the cards that came out had a burning plane crashing in the corner of the card, and it was reminding me of 9/11. And in this Tower card, it's a skyscraper with a person falling off of it with like this fiery background. And this is also reminding me of 9/11 or September 11th. I'm like getting chills as I'm saying this. I felt the need to specifically point this out because some of you watching this, that may resonate with you. Maybe you have like a direct personal experience relating to 9/11. Yeah, that's just really interesting. But anyway, yeah, this is you, trust falling with the universe. Everything's gonna be okay. Yeah, this is all happening to like break you down and rebuild you into the person that you're meant to be. The next two cards that came out are the Ace of Wands, which in this deck is called Illumination, and the Sage of Crystals, which is called Knower in this deck. Knower. So these two cards I feel like are kind of indicating the same sort of energy. This is about trusting your inner wisdom. This is about trusting that little voice from within that maybe tries to show you, hey, this situation isn't safe for you, or hey, this person isn't who they claim to be, or hey, even though you don't have any physical evidence to back up this feeling, you know deep down inside that something is wrong or that you're meant for something bigger and better. Like, this is just about trusting yourself. And trusting that no matter what happens to you in your life, you have a team of ancestors and guides with you at all times that you can reach out to, who will help you see what you need to see. They'll help you see the truth. They'll help you feel the truth embodied in your nervous system, in your energy fields. Sometimes all you have to do is ask. If you are the type of person that has a lot of blocks when it comes to trusting your intuition or listening to your inner voice, I really suggest doing some type of meditation or prayer practice. I know a lot of people aren't religious and don't identify with the concept of praying, so call it whatever you want, but I think it's important for you to have a practice where you are taking intentional time to sit with yourself, ground with your body, and communicate with whatever divine force you believe in. Whether it's God or the universe or your ancestors or deceased loved ones, or, you know, these beings that exist in the various layers of dimensions around us that we can't see. I know a lot of us, even if we don't consider ourselves religious, still feel some inner sense of spiritual connectedness to like our environment or the unseen realms. So if you're struggling to hear your inner voice, just know that you can communicate with those forces and you can invite them to help you and guide you. And as long as you give them permission, they're very, very quick to come to your aid and help you see the truth. However, sometimes seeing the truth is really hard. It might result in a tower moment. So just be prepared and know that if you're actively asking for that type of intervention, you're gonna get it, and it might be more than you bargained for. But you can trust yourself, you can trust your inner strength, and just know that you will be carried through it. So yeah, that's kind of the first part of this reading. The final two cards I got were Emperor and Integrity, 9 of Wands. This Emperor card in this specific deck speaks on leadership. It speaks on being a pioneer in your community or your realm of expertise, or just in the world in general. You may be stepping into a role because of this crumbling of your old reality, your old ways of thinking, your old self-limiting belief systems. As you watch this version of your life crumble, you will find yourself stepping into this role of higher responsibility and leadership. It might not even be something that you ever actively wanted. Maybe you never saw yourself as being a leader. Maybe you never thought that anyone would listen to your voice. Maybe you never thought of yourself as being highly intuitive with something worth saying. But I'm telling you, I'm getting chills saying this out loud. Everything in this reading is compelling me to let you know you have something to fucking say. And other people will resonate with it. Your truth and sharing that openly without fear, or even with fear, sharing your truth with a trembling in your voice, but just knowing that you have to do it, it is going to impact people's lives. Yeah, this is about being a pioneer. This is about taking the path less traveled by. This is about being a leader. This is about setting an example for others and showing people the power in doing that trust fall with the universe, showing people the power of speaking your truth, showing people the power of knowing that your experience is valid, even when people try to silence you. The Emperor, the energy of this card, it's like very like strong and self-assured. I also kind of feel like this speaks on sourcing your validation from within. So if you have found yourself stuck in cycles of outsourcing your validation from others, or, you know, from achievement at work, or your social status, or other people hyping you up, if you are the type of person who associates their personal value with how others assess you, I think you're going to be stepping into this time in your life where you don't need that anymore, where you know that you as a person and what you have to say is valuable and meaningful, even when people don't seem to really get it. You know, especially if you have friends or a social circle that has very different beliefs than what you feel deeply inside, you might lose some friends. You might actually experience the opposite of being validated before you experience meeting people that resonate with what you have to say. So if you're feeling lonely right now, or sensing that you might be entering a time in your life like that, again, just have strength and trust yourself. This illumination card also to me speaks on the truth being brought into the light. If you have been actively silenced because of things you have to say, if people discount you or your experiences, and you just feel like you're screaming into the void where no one can hear you, the truth will eventually be brought to the light. This final card, Integrity, 9 of Wands, is pretty self-explanatory. Again, even if you're not receiving positive feedback from you sharing your truth, you know that you have to speak up for what you know is right. One of the themes that I've been discussing with people a lot this week is how the fuck do we build a better world? It can feel so dark and confusing to not have answers for that. It can feel so dark and confusing to look around and see that we're living and existing and participating in systems that don't help humanity, and it can make us feel really powerless. I think for all of us, the revolution truly does start from within. So if you're looking around at your world and you're feeling icky and you're not liking what you see, the most powerful thing you can do is start to change your own way of thinking. Start to trust your own inner voice. Start to challenge the belief systems that you have been taught, that you have held as a part of your identity. And start to ask yourself, do I really need this? Does this serve me anymore? Is this serving other people? You know, if I have kids one day and they grow up, is this the world I want them to live in? Even if I don't have kids, is this the world I want to live in? Is this the world my friends should be living in? Yes. Okay, I'm going to pull some clarifying cards. The first one that I got was the Nurturer, Queen of Gems. And the last reading I did before I started filming this one, I got a very similar card. It was talking about the primal protective force that exists within a lot of us women. It was talking about, and men, for example, for Matt. I'm stumbling over my words, and again, it's reminding me of like my throat feeling blocked in the middle of this reading. And it's interesting that it started happening when I was about to start talking about the inner feminine energy that exists within men. Basically, what I was saying is a primal, protective, nurturing female force exists within all of us. Obviously, it exists within women. This also exists within men. And men's connection to this has been greatly severed. We can see that in the structure of our world. We can see that within concepts relating to toxic masculinity. Again, the fact that I started stuttering as soon as I started trying to speak on this is very telling. Because I think a lot of men don't know how to connect with that part of themselves. They don't know what it looks like. They don't know what it feels like. They have been conditioned to look down upon the things that make us women strong, both when they see it in women and when they feel it within themselves. So Yeah, I feel like that's very telling what started happening with my ability to communicate when I pulled that card. We also have Triumph. This card has been coming out so much in this deck. Again, trust the motherfucking process. Like, we as a collective are moving through some of the darkest shadow work right now that we will probably ever have to do in our lives. And it's not going to feel comfortable. Trust the Fool. Oh my God, this came out earlier today too. This actually came out twice in 2 separate decks. The Fool card represents stepping out into the unknown. It represents the first chapter of a new cycle that you're entering. This is the energy we experience when we have left an old version of ourselves or our lives behind, and we are taking our first baby steps into the new version of reality that we're about to be living. So the energy of the Fool card is like, it's like a naive energy almost, but it's also optimistic. It's also like very childlike and filled with wonder. It's also simultaneously intimidating at times. It can feel scary when you're entering a new phase of your life where the old rules no longer apply. It can feel like you've been thrown in the water and you don't know how to swim yet, and you're figuring it out as you go. So yeah, that's why this card in this particular deck is called Trust. This is about trusting the universe, trusting yourself, and just knowing that if you are living in integrity, you are going to be taken exactly where you need to go. We're all in Earth School together. The competition card, you are going to have people that don't fucking like what you have to say. You're going to have people that hear you speaking your truth, who want to actively silence you, who want to speak over you, who want more attention than what you're getting, even though it's not even about attention. When we share our experiences from a raw state because we know it needs to be expressed, there's going to be people who feel threatened by that. So don't be discouraged, because again, even if you don't get immediate validation, the more you live in alignment and authenticity, the more you are like essentially strengthening the like Wi-Fi signal of your energy field to call in more people who resonate with what you represent and who resonate with your stories. So if it feels a bit like you're lacking in support for a while, just know that that is a side effect of people being cleared from your life that don't deserve to be there, who only serve to further perpetuate these self-limiting belief systems that you've been stuck in. We got the protection card. Again, very self-explanatory. Just know that when you're living in alignment, no matter what obstacles you may face, you will be divinely protected, because this is the reason we are all here. Every single one of us has a unique perspective, a unique voice, something special to offer to the world that is necessary for the development and healing of our species and our world on a collective level. And we need that so fucking bad right now. This is not a time to blindly follow. This is a time to self-reflect, get real with yourself about who you are, your experiences, the person you want to become, and start living every day in the pursuit of that. It's not always going to be easy at first. And then celebration. It's so interesting. Like I said, I just filmed a reading before I started filming this one, and a lot of these same cards were coming out before. Celebration, 3 of Shells. What can I even say to that? This is just representing the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, again, just trust yourself, trust your experiences, know that you're not fucking alone, and your voice matters, whether you're male or female, whether you don't identify as either of those things, like regardless of your cultural background, like all of us have something valid to share with the world. And it's just as important for us to share those things as it is to hold space for others while they share that. I'm gonna pull just a few more cards from another deck. What does the collective need to know? My cat is laying on these cards right now. I wish I could show y'all, but it's really fucking cute. You may have animal spirits in your field right now. You may have a pet that is gonna comfort you through whatever this phase of your life is. Maybe you've lost a pet recently. Maybe you've lost a pet recently and that's been really hard. Just know that they're still in your field. They're still there for you, comforting you, and you can reach out to them if you need to. Wow. Oh my God! What was I fucking just saying about pets? And I got the dog card. So again, this is another card that just came out in that reading I did before this, but this card represents like having support around you. It represents loyalty. If you've been feeling a lack of loyalty in your life, or if you've been feeling betrayal, just know that there are people entering your life who would never fucking do that to you, who would be by your side through thick and thin. And you probably already have people like this in your life. You might not know who they are yet, but they will reveal themselves the more you speak your truth. And what I just said, I said, you might not know who you are. I didn't mean to say that, but the fact that it came out, I think is significant. So again, this time in your life really might represent stepping into this phase of reconfiguring your own identity. You might feel really lost right now. That feeling fucking sucks. I relate. I know a lot of people relate. You might be questioning the things that you thought represented solid support in your reality. Maybe those things have all been stripped away, like this Tower card, things that were built on a shaky foundation. But yeah, this represents having support and loyalty around you. Also the depiction of this card where it has this like record player, like megaphone thing. I don't know like what the specific name is for this like music player. But it reminds me again of this concept of using your voice to project a message. And the dog is like the audience. And look, he's like right up in that thing, wanting to hear what you have to say. Like, please do not doubt the impact of your voice and your story. And again, this might represent a literal animal in your life, one that's either still with you or one that's passed. It's crazy that this card came out when I was talking about that. Wow. Dogs also represent this dynamic of like, you know, man's best friend. They're so loyal. They're so sweet. They're there for us through thick and thin. However, dogs are also fiercely protective. And if someone or something tries to threaten you, a dog will fuck them up. If you have a home intruder coming into your house, guess what? That dog is going to take care of business. So to me, it also reminds me of this concept of like not taking someone's kindness for weakness. If that is something that has happened to you a lot, I think you might be moving out of that. I think you might be forming stronger boundaries with people, which will ultimately help you on your journey of becoming the person you're meant to be. Another card that just came out is this bear card, featuring again another animal. Seeing these animals in the context of like the themes we're talking about, I also feel like this represents like advocating for people or beings who don't have a voice, people who can't always speak up for themselves. Whenever I see this card in this particular deck, it also reminds me of the idea of like befriending things that are scary, befriending your traumatic experiences, befriending the things that have happened to you befriending the things that have happened to you that you previously perceived as threatening or negative, and realizing that all of those things are happening for you, not to you. It's about moving out of a state of victimhood. Even though we all have experienced what it's like to feel victimized, it's about taking that energy and instead of just sitting around and feeling broken up about it, it's about using that to fuel you and to become the type of person you want to be. You know, like this woman is like sharing her tea with this bear. It also reminds me, I know this is kind of like an internet meme right now, but the whole question of man or bear, I don't know if everyone watching this is familiar with that, but there's like this meme that was circulating the internet that was asking women, would you be more comfortable encountering a man in the woods when you're there alone, or would you be comfortable encountering a bear in the woods when you're alone? And the joke of it all is that most women are like, I would literally rather be stuck in the woods with a grizzly bear than be alone with a man. So again, that just the fact that I'm being reminded of that, you may have, some of y'all watching this may have experienced abuse at the hands of a man. Or maybe that has been a recurring theme in your life and you're just fucking tired of it. And this birds card with these cages, again, maybe you have been literally feeling like you've been trapped in a cage of this trauma, or feeling like you've never really been able to escape it, or you've never really been able to use your voice to expose it. Whoa, I got this deck like all turned around somehow when I was shuffling it. You might be really having a hard time processing right now. You may be feeling the weight of the world and the weight of your own experiences kind of creating a lot of pressure for you. It may be making you feel a bit like mixed up, so to speak. Just like these cards are all mixed up and turned around right now. But again, just trust the process. Okay, I'm gonna pull like one more card from this deck. What does the collective need to know about how they can move forward and use their energy to heal and overcome whatever oppression or trauma they've experienced? How do we use that to build a better world? Pathways. It's also the number 22 might be significant to you. That's the number of this card. You may be seeing like recurring number patterns. Maybe that's something that speaks to you or feels significant to you. I know a lot of people resonate with seeing like 1111. So you might be seeing synchronicities in the form of numbers. But yeah, this Pathways card, this really just represents choices. This represents the choices we're faced with in our lives, and how many different paths at the end of the day can lead to the same result. So I encourage you to not overthink during this time. I encourage you to really trust your body consciousness, really trust your inner knowing, and know that as long as you're living in alignment, whatever choice you make is going to lead to your highest timeline. And it's going to contribute to us accessing the highest timeline of our entire collective world. So if you're feeling stuck in the state of mental constriction or feeling trapped and you're like, oh, what choice do I make? Like if you're stressing out about it and just not knowing what to do, just know that oftentimes many paths lead to the same result. And we have choices every day. Every single day we're faced with a million choices. And the best place to start sometimes when it comes to our own healing is just starting with making decisions that are easy for you to access wherever your energy is currently at. So if you're feeling like your life has been squeezing you and you're under a lot of pressure right now, and all this stuff going on in your life or the world is feeling like too much to handle, you can still just take small steps towards living in alignment, being the version of yourself that you want to be, and sharing your truth and your light with the world. It doesn't have to be some crazy overnight change where you're like a new person overnight. This can start in small, accessible ways. And then the final card I'm looking at right now is lilies. These look like lotuses depicted in this illustration. And it makes me think of the phrase, no mud, no lotus. Lotuses grow from the mud in water, and that is the perfect metaphor for our lives. Without these experiences that squeeze us and break us down, we can't grow and we can't transform and we can't spread our wings and become a butterfly. When I see butterflies in oracle cards or tarot, or just in synchronistic ways in my life, it's indicating transformation. When butterflies go from being a caterpillar to a butterfly, they are liquefied in their chrysalis and turned into DNA soup, essentially. They are broken down to like their core state of matter and rearranged through that process before they come out of their cocoon or their chrysalis and become a butterfly. This is the phase you're in right now. You're in the DNA soup phase. It's not always going to feel comfortable. It's going to feel confusing. You might have more questions than answers right now, but just trust. You are going to come out on the other side as this butterfly. Triumph. I love that this is called the Triumph card, because that's what you're heading towards. So again, I hope this was helpful. I know so many of us are moving through a lot of darkness right now, both on a personal and collective level. And I just want you to know you're not alone. You're doing amazing. And just keep trusting your heart, keep trusting yourself. And together we can all make a better world. But yeah, love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I hope this resonated.